The 2014 Euro 15 UEFA Europa League is the 44th season of Europe's secondary club football tournament organised by UEFA, and the sixth season since it was renamed from the UEFA Cup to the UEFA Europa League. The 2015 UEFA Europa League Final will be played at the Stadion Narodowy in Warsaw, Poland. Sevilla are the title holders. This will be the first season where clubs must comply with UEFA financial fair play regulations in order to participate. Moreover, this season will also be the first where a club from Gibraltar will compete in the tournament, after the Gibraltar Football Association was accepted as the 54th UEFA member at the UEFA Congress in May 2013. They were granted one spot in the Europa League, which will be taken by College Europa, the runners-up of the 2014 Rock Cup. Starting from this edition, the UEFA Europa League winners will qualify for the subsequent UEFA Champions League season. Therefore, the winners of this tournament will qualify for the 2015 Euro 16 UEFA Champions League. They will enter at least the playoff round, and will enter the group stage if the berth reserved for the Champions League title holders is not used. Association team allocation: a total of 195 teams from all 54 UEFA member associations are expected to participate in the 2014 Euro 15 UEFA Europa League. The association ranking based on the UEFA country coefficients is used to determine the number of participating teams for each association. Associations 1 and Euro 6 each have 3 teams qualify. Associations 7 and Euro 9 each have 4 teams qualify. Associations 10 and Euro 51 each have 3 teams qualify. Associations 52 and Euro 53 each have 2 teams qualify. Liechtenstein and Gibraltar each have 1 team qualify. The top 3 associations of the 2013 and Euro 14 UEFA Respect Fair Play ranking each gain an additional berth. Moreover, 33 teams eliminated from the 2014 Euro 15 UEFA Champions League are transferred to the Europa League. The winners of the 2013 Euro 14 UEFA Europa League are given an additional entry as title holders if they do not qualify for the 2014 Euro 15 UEFA Champions League or Europa League through their domestic performance. However, this additional entry is not necessary for this season since the title holders qualified for European competitions through their domestic performance. Association ranking: for the 2014 Euro 15 UEFA Europa League, the associations are allocated places according to their 2013 UEFA country coefficients, which takes into account their performance in European competitions from 2008 Euro 09 to 2012 Euro 13. Apart from the allocation based on the country coefficients, associations may have additional teams participating in the Europa League, as noted below: FP, a Euro additional berth via fair play ranking; UCL, a Euro additional teams transferred from the Champions League; distribution, since the title holders Sevilla qualified for the Europa League through their domestic performance, the spot which they qualified for in the group stage is vacated, and the following changes to the default allocation system are made. The domestic cup winners of Association 7 will be promoted from the playoff round to the group stage. The domestic cup winners of Association 16 are promoted from the third qualifying round to the playoff round. The domestic cup winners of Association 19 are promoted from the second qualifying round to the third qualifying round. The domestic cup winners of Associations 33 and 34 are promoted from the first qualifying round to the second qualifying round. Redistribution rules: a Europa League place is vacated when a team qualifies for both the Champions League and the Europa League, or qualifies for the Europa League by more than one method. When a place is vacated, it is redistributed within the national association by the following rules: when the domestic cup winners also qualified for the Champions League, their Europa League place is vacated. As a result, either of the following teams qualified for the Europa League: the domestic cup runners-up, provided they have not yet qualified for European competitions, qualify for the Europa League as the lowest-placed qualifier, with the other Europa League qualifiers moved up one place. Otherwise, the highest-placed team in the league which have not yet qualified for European competitions qualify for the Europa League, with the Europa League qualifiers which finish above them in the league moved up one place. When the domestic cup winners also qualify for the Europa League through league position, their place through the league position is vacated. As a result, the highest-placed team in the league which have not yet qualified for European competitions qualify for the Europa League, with the Europa League qualifiers which finish above them in the league moved up one place if possible. For associations where a Europa League place is reserved for the League Cup winners, they always qualify for the Europa League as the lowest-placed qualifier. If the League Cup winners have already qualified for European competitions through other methods, this reserved Europa League place is taken by the highest-placed league team in the league which have not yet qualified for European competitions. A fair play place is taken by the highest-ranked team in the domestic fair play table which have not yet qualified for European competitions. Teams. The labels in the parentheses show how each team qualified for the place of his starting round, title holders, CW, Cup winners, CR, Cup runners-up, LC, League Cup winners, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, etc. League position, PW, and of season European competition playoffs winners, FP, Fair Play, UCL, transferred from the Champions League, GS, third-place teams from the group stage, PO, losers from the playoff round, Q3, losers from the third qualifying round. Notably 3 teams take part in the competition that do not currently play in their national top division. They are Santos Tartu, St. Par Paragraph LTEN and Tromsø. Notes. Round and draw dates. The schedule of the competition is as follows. Matches in the qualifying, playoff, and knockout rounds may also be played on Tuesdays or Wednesdays instead of the regular Thursdays due to scheduling conflicts. Qualifying rounds. In the qualifying rounds and the playoff round, teams will be divided into seeded and unseeded teams based on their 2014 UEFA club coefficients, and then drawn into 2-legged home and away ties. Teams from the same association cannot be drawn against each other. First qualifying round. The draw for the first and second qualifying rounds were held on June 23, 2014. The first legs were played on 1st and 3rd July, and the second legs will be played on 8th and 10th July 2014. Notes. Second qualifying round. The first legs will be played on July 17, and the second legs will be played on July 24, 2014. Notes. Third qualifying round. A total of 58 teams play in the third qualifying round, 18 teams which enter in this round, and the 40 winners of the second qualifying round. Playoff round. A total of 62 teams play in the playoff round, 18 teams which enter in this round, the 29 winners of the third qualifying round, and the 15 losers of the 2014 Euro 15 UEFA Champions League third qualifying round. Group stage. A total of 48 teams play in the group stage, 7 teams which enter in this stage, the 31 winners of the playoff round, and the 10 losers of the 2014 Euro 15 UEFA Champions League playoff round. The 48 teams will be allocated into 4 pots based on their 2014 UEFA club coefficients, with the title holders being placed in pot 1 automatically. They will be drawn into 12 groups of 4, with the restriction that teams from the same association cannot be drawn against each other. In each group, teams will play against each other home and away in a round-robin format. The group winners and runners-up will advance to the round of 32, where they will be joined by the 8 third-placed teams of the 2014 Euro 15 UEFA Champions League group stage. Knockout phase. In the knockout phase, teams will play against each other over 2 legs on a home and away basis, except for the one-match final. The mechanism of the draws for each round is as follows. In the draw for the round of 32, the 12 group winners and the 4 third-placed teams from the Champions League group stage with the better group records will be seeded, and the 12 group runners-up and the other 4 third-placed teams from the Champions League group stage will be unseeded. The seeded teams will be drawn against the unseeded teams, with the seeded teams hosting the second leg. Teams from the same group or the same association cannot be drawn against each other. In the draws for the round of 16 onwards, there will be no seedings, and teams from the same group or the same association can be drawn against each other. See also, 2014 Euro 15 UEFA Champions League, 2015 UEFA Super Cup. References. External links: UEFA Europa League.